Authority Operational Plan. Normally this would come to the same meeting as our annual plan, but the TMA only met to decide this on Monday, so it's coming here. Councillor Filipaina, would you like to move this? I'll second it for you. Thank you. Welcome, Dom and your team. Good morning.
Kia ora tātou. If it pleases your worship to have this report generally taken as read, and I might make a key point. So the key point really would be that for the budget to be agreed and be finalised, it must be agreed by the Tupuna Maunga Authority and Auckland Council. And so Auckland Council, of course, to make the decision today, and some days ago on the 25th of May, the Tupuna Maunga Authority unanimously agreed to adopt the draft operational plan and its summary. Of course, this was based upon a set of consultation that was carried out, two sets, one set by Auckland Council and also one set of consultation by the Tupuna Maunga Authority. And that was reported to you all jointly with the Tupuna Maunga Authority at a hui we had back on the 22nd of April. Kia ora tātou, for any questions.
Deputy Mayor Simpson, please.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do for our Maunga and for our city. If I wanted to know a little bit more about the detail around Ohenirau, and I just need to know for my own community, can you just come back to me? I really just want to know a little bit more about the fire break. I know that you're spending $10,000 a year on that fire break. Just want to understand where it is and how it works. Could you come back to me, Dom? You don't have to do it now.
Yes, we shall. Thank you.
Are you answering that later on, Dom, eh?
Yes, well, offline we can come back to
I don't need a very specific local issue to be around this table. I'm happy for him to come back to me local.
Thank you. Councillor Watson, please.
Yeah, just a general question on the network-wide programs as it goes to signage, interpretation, storytelling and whatnot. As it progresses through the years, there's quite a significant increase in that aspect of the programs, and I'm just curious to know. It makes references to things like unique infrastructure and site-specific interpretation. I'm just really interested to know what that actually entails. I assume you know, which is always very good to have. I can think of various places where they have the lovely, histories that are, certainly very educative. And is that the sort of infrastructure we're talking about, or is it something completely different?
It's a really wonderful question, because I think you might recall that in some years past, the authority is very keen for the sites to be recorded from their tentative state as World Heritage Sites to being future World Heritage Sites. And so that is a program still in play. And so this storytelling will really feed into that, assuming that will go through in the future. Of course, in the co-governance space, the storytelling is something that is very complex, because you have 13 iwi groups around the table alongside Auckland Council and the co-governance of the Tupuna Maunga. And so it's a complexity to it. But it's also unique in the sense that there can be unique carvings, there can be unique, the sorts of information centres, for instance. So I think that's one key area that I know that the authority has talked about a lot, is to have more information centres on the Maunga. Kia ora. Hope that answers.
Councillor Fletcher, you have a question.
Thank you, Your Worship. Dominic, can I thank you sincerely for all of the work that you've put into this, and also for the amazing advocacy that you've brought around the protection of the Manga view shafts. My question to you, though, is relating to the operational budgets, and that is my understanding that any future challenges to the judicial review and the Court of Appeal and potential Supreme Court action will be met not by council directly, but from operational budgets. So can you just confirm that? And can you confirm that it will be a decision of the members of the TMA if they wish to pursue further legal action?
My understanding is that the Auckland Council generally provides legal support to the Tupuna Maunga Authority, and so that's the general position. In relation to recent litigation, the Auckland Council had the view that it was wise not to pay for the particular action that was happening. I think in the context of that, the first step, of course, is we've got to wait for a decision to come out in relation to the extant litigation. And once that comes out, the steps will probably be that management would review alongside legal counsel, and then would put to the chair and deputy chair, or the co-chairs and deputy chair, in terms of whether it should go on the agenda as a matter. And certainly that would be a preference for management.
Notwithstanding the rather litigious bent that has been taken on this, I really do want to commend you for what is outstanding leadership and work for the TMA. So thank you, Dominic.
Thank you. I'll pass that on to the team. Kia ora.
Councillor Gillen, please.
Oh, thank you. Look, I'm happy with this, but I've got a couple of questions. I note that the full facilities maintenance contract seems to be separate from council's contract. What's the reasoning behind that, or is it a subset?
That's a really good question, because there's quite a history to why they're separate. Essentially, the old P17, I think it was called, was divided into 5 areas, as you well know, and but though the maunga were spread across those areas, multiple of those areas, and so there was the risk that you'd have different teams working on the maunga. And so the Tupuna Maunga Authority, it's an independent statutory board, and it made the decision to withdraw from the Auckland Council wide facilities program and went on its own path. That said, the two went hand in hand, and so Auckland Council, through its process of tendering and so forth, sought tenders for the whole of Auckland, which included the maunga at the time, and it gave us an indication of pricings. And that meant that when the Tupuna Maunga Authority did its own full facilities maintenance contract, it actually had the benefit of already having quotes across the board. And so the contracts are also very, very similar.
Okay, oh, that's good. So you're confident that this is the price you've been given here is correct and in par with what council's getting for the other contracts?
Yes, I am. I think it'd be fair to say that the co-governance space, because of its uniqueness, can attract extra costs. That said, the team, just like any part of the team within Auckland Council, work on better value projects, and it's a really important part of the Tupuna Maunga Authority's ethos is to make to get the best value. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My last question is just on the budget overall. How do you actually work out the budget? Is it done on a per site basis? Is it done on what's actually required over the time, and then worked out how much that is, or is it done on a funding formula like local boards? Or how's that worked out?
Well, of course, this particular operational plan sits within the long-term plan budget, and it's the authority really wanted to make sure that there was no additional request for funds, particularly in these economically austere times. But essentially, there's the management team working alongside the governance and the overall governance direction through the integrated management plan will see an overall direction of what's needed on the maunga, and that's factored into the calculations, and it's factored into that 10-year package.
Okay. So you're able to factor in what assets need renewing or building and that, and then you put that, okay, all right.
Yes, that's the aim.
Thank you.
I've got a question. Councillor Fletcher raised the question of the volcanic view lines, and Minister Bishop has raised those with relationship to the Mangawhau station. Is there anything happening there that you're aware of on those?
I'm not sure if there's a discussion at the governance level. I'm aware that the co-chairs of the Tupuna Maunga Authority wrote to Minister Bishop, and he's responded, and management between the two lines have been organising communications, but there's definitely a line of communications at the governance I'm not aware of. But in the letter from Mr Bishop, it was clear that he said that he wasn't intending to exercise powers, the central government powers under the Resource Management Act in relation to the view shafts. He was simply, he said in his letter, trying to open a discussion on the matter.
So is there an open discussion on the matter or not?
With different hats on, I've as a council staff member, I've had a look at a report that's been prepared by the Ministry of Housing in relation to view shafts. That hasn't been shared with the Tupuna Maunga Authority. So I think it's still a confidential report that the Minister is working on. So there's discussion on that, I suppose, within staff. But otherwise, no, I'm not aware of discussion yet at the higher level in terms of governance yourselves.
I don't think I am either, so that's fair enough. Any further questions for these gentlemen? Councillor Turner. Oh, sorry, I've got a couple all of a sudden. Turner, Short and Bartley.
Thank you. I just got sidelined by one of your answers there. How can you read a document with one hat on and it considered not be shared with the Maunga Authority when you've got another hat there that... Oh, you don't have to answer that, I think, on a rhetorical question. These contracts, how do you satisfy your Maori outcome criteria for contractors, etc.? You know, like if Mana Whenua wants to deliver their own services inside the Maunga areas, do they have to subcontract to these to your principal contractor?
I can say that the team has really been working to try and increase Māori contractors within the team and within the team of contractors. We have to go through still a process to ensure that the contractors meet all of the requirements. Auckland Council's got a very clear set of requirements for ensuring that contractors meet health and safety and all the various steps that need to be done. And so our team probably have done a little bit of extra work to help some iwi contractors to reach those levels, and a number of them, yes, have worked through the more sort of established providers, if you like, on subcontract. But our rates are very high. I don't know exact rate, I can report back to you, but it's definitely over half are Māori providers.
But they will subcontract to your principal contractor, who's an Australian company.
That's a regular. The principal contractor, yes, it's Green by Nature, and so there's a lot of subcontracting through there.
Thank you.
Councillor Short, please.
Thank you. I see you guys are looking to implement a Maunga water strategy. Is that in line with Healthy Waters? Are you working with Healthy Waters to do this, or is this, again, on your own?
Yes, I must admit that the authority, is an independent statutory board, and so it has its own decision-making powers and so forth. That said, the staff at the staff level work very closely with Healthy Waters and all of the groups in council. We also spend a lot of time working with the kaitiaki iwi leadership and to help inform that planning, and that's in process at the moment. Kia ora.
Sorry, just one more. I can also see that you're also looking at strengthening your volunteer network. Could you kind of just touch on that a little bit and expand on that?
I think most of the volunteer work is occurring in this sort of area of pest control and planting, the sort of general, more planting, of course. And that's an area where the authority is really working hard to try and grow two things, I suppose. It's interconnection with existing volunteer groups, but also working closely with iwi, closely with schools, kura, kohanga reo and so forth. And that's working very well. I think basically starting almost this weekend, I think, and going right through the winter are plantings on all the maunga. The hard part can be that the maunga, of course, is steep and there's some areas on them that are not suitable for the public to be doing planting, and so we do use contractors for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Bartley, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for this, Dominic. My question is, quite often we are dealing with a lot of loud negative voices, comments, but I'm just wondering, is the Te Puna Maunga Authority tracking the multitude of positive feedback that's coming through about what the authority has implemented throughout the various maunga, the upgrades of tracks that have never been upgraded before when it was under council, and now it's upgraded, the hangi pits, the playgrounds, the natural aspect that you've brought back to the maunga, removing cars, and people are commenting about how they feel safer now. They're not at risk of being run over when they're trying to walk up the mountain. Are you tracking that positive feedback?
Yes, we track all feedback. We still get a steady stream of, there's certain parts of society who are not really keen on co-governance generally. So that's a steady stream of that sort of feedback. But there's a real growth in positive feedback. And I think this year in particular, the submissions on this operational plan, the majority of the submissions were in favour and in support. And in previous years, it's been much closer. So I think there's a tracking more positive. And I think you're right to raise the matter of the pedestrianisation of the maunga. It had quite a bit of negative press at the beginning. And I think the Herald did a sort of a poll, and at the time there were 58% of people in support, and I think it was 30-something negative, and the rest were I don't knows. But it wasn't a full-on support. It was the majority, but that was early, and then it's all happened. It's rolled out, and I recall about 2 years ago, maybe Department of Conservation did their own survey, and the percentage was up at about 80% in support. So that growth and support is something we're really noticing. We're noticing in the sort of mail we're getting at the authority. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you.
Perhaps those others went to Australia. Anyhow, no further questions, but thank you very much for your presentation. And no further debate. Well, I'll put them. Oh, Councillor Turner.
Thank you. I just wanted to make the observation that, my time on the TMA now for a term and a little bit is that they are very coordinated and could be a benchmark to set ourselves for some of this full facilities delivery. And I'd like to point out that, like Tupunga, the TMA, like the Mongas, our regional parks have clear boundaries, clear staff identification. They have sheds and tractors and trailers and chainsaws all parked up, and they also face that problem that the TMA has very wisely stepped away from, and that is that our regional parks fall into amongst the 5 full facility contract areas, which brings a complication and cost that through the P27 review we could fix. Thank you.
Thank you for keeping an eye on that for us, Councillor Turner. Councillor Filipina, please.
Hatamare, koro matua to you, Chair. Good morning. Atamare e koutou katoa i ngā kaikonuhira, and kaimahi. Tēnā koutou. To you, Dominic and Bizan, ngā mihi kia korua for the mahi you've done on this report. As everybody knows, this is the first of, I hope, many more operational plans to be passed jointly between the tupuna maunga and governing body. I want to acknowledge ngā mana whenua Tāmaki Makaurau, and in particular those that sit on the Tupuna Maunga Authority. I want to acknowledge co-chairs Marama Royal and Paul Majuri. Also the elected members. We have Sarah Powery from Orake. She is a member of Tupuna Maunga. Damien Light from the Howick Local Board, and John Turner from Pukitāpapa Local Board, also Councillors Fletcher and Turner. I want to acknowledge them along with the ngā mana whenua, because, I mean, without them, we wouldn't get the mahi done from a governance perspective. So to you all, thank you so much. Chair, my last acknowledgement is to all our kaimahi for their work on ngā tūpuna Maunga Tāmaki Makaurau, the ancestral mountains of Auckland. Without our kaimahi, again, everybody putting aside all the rhetoric and also emails and everything else that we get around what's happening with our tūpuna maunga, I want to acknowledge our kaimahi for the TMA. So ngā mihi kia koutou katoa, and again, as I said earlier, I look forward to adopting many more of the operational plans along with the GB Kilda.
Thank you, Councillor Filipina. Councillor Newman.
Oh, okay. Look, I actually just want, sorry I was late in arriving, but I just want to acknowledge the authority for its excellent stewardship. I mean, actually one of my favourite walks actually is now around Mangere Mountain, which is absolutely, I mean, the work that they've done on the track there is just superb. And the cup and the playground there, it's just absolutely fabulous. And you visit the Maunga around Auckland, and they're clearly being much better maintained, and the access and the facilities that are provided for people to visit there is superb. And I mean, I probably don't pay as many compliments as I should in life, but I have to say that the Maunga that I'm visiting are just wonderful, and I do appreciate the work that's been done. I just want to acknowledge those who are on the authority. I'm not one of them, so I've never been part of this, but in terms of a visitor destination, I think these are really good locations to visit, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That finishes the commentary on that. It's fair to say that perhaps having an authority that focuses on a job is better than having a council that covers everything. So it has worked very well. So thank you very much for that, Dom, and your team. We'll put the motion to agree to the operational plan. All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, that's carried. And in the spirit of wonderful Auckland nature positive work which has been started and carried on by Maunga Authority, I'd like to welcome the nature positive